What's up, guys? This is the week 12 recap. My first trade of the week was a very bad trade. Is I was kind of rusty when I got back from my trip, and things just weren't clicking very well. I took a starter short. Well, I shorted. My first indicator was right here. It popped up. I looked too short. I had a very tight risk, but the one thing I didn't factor in was this strong volume. This volume's way too strong to be short right there. I should have waited a little bit more. It was an extension play. I was looking for this thing to pop over the pre-market highs, um, which it finally did. I got a little I got in a little bit too early. I took another small loss, and then I kind of got FOMO right here. I shorted here. It didn't work. After these two first trades were good. It didn't work. My play, my setup didn't work. I should have just walked away, and I didn't. And I just got absolutely annihilated on this thing over here. And I took a max loss. So I started off after my vacation, max loss. Obviously not the way I would have liked to have started. Uh, the next trade I took was CBLI. This one, I missed my. It is probably my favorite setups. Is it pops up, you see all the selling pressure. This thing had over 4 million volume right here. So there's 4 million people that bought the breakout right here. They're stuck in this. I love to short this because the second they start panicking, they start selling. It fuels my short. I missed this. I got busy at work. People were bugging me, and I wasn't able to focus in on things. It popped up. I took this short. I covered here. I shorted again. I covered here, and I should have been done on these two because I broke the rules. I shouldn't have been looking for it's consolidating, and it's got a tight consolidation range, and I shorted here. This one worked, but then when it popped up, like I never should have touched it here. Luckily, I kept a tight risk, but I shouldn't have. I should have been messing with this. I did have a small win on this, so that was nice. But I know that I didn't trade it very well. Then my next trade was my new record trade. This is the biggest one I've ever had. I was looking for it to be in between this consolidation range. I want to see it pop into there and then fell. It popped up here, and if you look at the volume, it's basically averaging anywhere from 2 to 3 million people trading this thing. But then there's a huge push and a huge sell-off. So all these guys are stuck in the stock. All these longs are trapped. It popped up. I saw it stalling out. All these longs are trying to, sell their position to minimize their risk. I shorted here, covered half here, half down here. I trailed a fourth here, half here. The last fourth I took off here for like I said, my biggest win so far, and this is a very good trade. And finally, I started feeling like I was finally getting back into the swing of things. Uh, I had another good short on BPTH. I saw this thing coming up. It had a double top up here. Started selling off. When it started failing, I shorted, risking that high. It came down. I covered half. I covered the other half down here. This is also a nice win. When I have one entry, my covers, I do well. It's when I have stuff like today where I shorted SCKT. And things, when you see it's kind of over trading and FOMO, and I was trying to look for this thing to pop up and then just fail. It did have like a small D pattern. It's holding the pre-market highs, but it's having lower highs, and then it just fails. It popped up. I was looking for this thing to pop and fail. It didn't pop and fail, so I cut it off for a small loss. I then jumped in when I saw it pushing back up and it couldn't break over this high. I shorted. It kept on stalling out, and I got nervous, and so I covered. When it popped back up on the next candle, I saw it falling back down. I was like, oh, I think this is forming a D pattern. It had a support on the pre-market high, but it kept on having lower highs, and the volume started dying out too. So I shorted up here. I covered a fourth of it here. I covered half here, and then this is when stuff kind of got a little bad. So I actually messed up because I know I shorted again right here, and it came back down. I remember I covered a little bit here, but I didn't factor in the fact that I had already covered 3/4 of my position in these three covers, and then when I shorted down here, it lowered my average from here down to probably somewhere around here, and I should have had my cover at break even after I took this off, but that's when my boss came yelling at me. My coworkers were asking me all sorts of questions, and I lost focus for half a second. Well, unfortunately for me, this thing started curling back up. It broke over the VWAP, and then this thing got a bunch of volume. This thing had 4 million volume. This thing just ripped. And by the time I looked back at the thing, I was overconfident. I thought this thing was just going to fall all the way down, and I was going to have a nice fade all day. This thing ripped up, but the problem was, since my average wasn't here, honestly, my average is probably lower because since I took off 3/4 of it here, I added back half my size here. So I mean, this is my average is probably closer to down here. It probably wasn't in the middle. It was probably like 378, and so that when this thing ripped, I had a big loss. I turned my winning trade, even though this is kind of choppy up here and it wasn't great trading up in this area. I turned it into a loss. I had a small win. It wasn't anything to brag about, but I mean it was still a win. This thing popped up, and I was just like, oh crap, I'm red on the day. So then it started coming back down. I tried to short here. I thought I was going to fail all the way back down. I was going to kind of rinse and repeat what I did over here, which unfortunately I kind of did, but it didn't work out for me. I shorted, I covered, I shorted, I covered for a loss, and then it finally did what I wanted it to do, and it dropped. I should have saw that it was kind of holding this 390 support. It had lower highs. I didn't recognize the pattern, and I missed the move. And so then when I missed it and it popped back up, I was like, oh, all right, I'm gonna get in on this. Because one of my indicators was right here. I shorted here, and I was expecting to fade down. I was going to take off fourth here, another half at $3, and then my final down here at 261. But it ripped up against me. The volume started coming back a little bit, and I covered it. And I realized that I was revenge trading and over trading, and I was just irritated with work and everything. I was just like, it's already bad enough that I turned my green day into a red day. I don't need to make it worse by turning this small loss into max loss. Well, it wasn't really a small loss. It's still, I lost probably, I don't know, like 2R probably. But still, it sucks when you have a winning trade, a decent trade too, and then you turn it into a even bigger loss. It's sucks. But I don't know. That's why I'm doing these weekly recaps so I can rewatch it and study. One thing I have noticed about this week, that when I do go live, that no matter what, when I go on vacations, I am going to go back to paper trading, because it's weird. I took a break for a week, but when I came back, like, the market has changed a little bit. It might not be huge differences, but there is definitely differences in how it's trading things, how it moves, and all that kind of stuff. I'm still a beginner, and so I'm learning as much as I can, but it's crazy to me how quickly the market can kind of change, and I need to learn to adjust. I need to learn how to see these patterns quicker, and yeah, I mean, it's baby steps in the right direction, but obviously I'm not happy with how I ended today, but I also do need to remember that I do have trades like this that I absolutely killed it. I still ended the week green, but I definitely could have done a lot better. My first trade, KXIN, I had a max loss, so I mean, that's obviously not ideal. I kind of got back into my FOMO, but at the same time, I'm down here. I was following somewhat of the rules. I was respecting everything. I'm trading it down here at $6. This thing got all the way up to $13.40. I'm trying to hold myself accountable, but at the same time, remember that I'm already way better than I was in my last room. Like the last room that I was trading in, like, I remember they would add every 50 cents. Oh, like lower your average, short, or well, they were long in everything, so I guess this would have worked out for me. But it the rules, the risk management, it's all getting better. But when I do go live, no matter what, I am going to go back to paper for a week. That way I can kind of knock the rust off and make sure that I'm finding consistency before I start playing with my real account and my real funds and all that kind of stuff. I don't want to just go in there and throw money away. So that is one thing that I am glad that I did learn this week. But anyways, there you go, week 12, and I'll be back for week 13 later.